Welcome back, guys. Today we're gonna be putting in a new transom in this John boat build I got going on. It's a 16 by 5 foot boat. We're gonna be turning this thing into kind of a catfish be all do all boat. Probably gonna do a platform up here, do lights all the way around it, do some bow fishing. But before we could even think about getting this thing on the water, it's gonna need a transom. So first thing you want to do is see if your boat has these welded caps on. Sometimes they're riveted on, which is preferable because you can take these caps off and drop a new piece in. But I can't do that, and I'm not cutting these welds. So what I'm gonna do is take this transom brace out. It's got some rivets. I've already tried cleaning the boat up a little bit, but we're gonna see what we can do as we go. So first thing we're gonna do is try get some sort of template for this thing. This is roughly 1.5 inches. So I've got a sheet of 3/4 plywood. And this is what we'll be using for the transom. And we'll be getting our template and cutting out 2 of them and stacking them together. And then I'll be hitting them with some epoxy. We will be covering everything with this fiberglass epoxy, or this resin. And this stuff's pretty cheap. You can find it pretty much anywhere. And I've got all the hardware here. Got some stainless steel hardware. Some Flex Seal will be for something else. And some silicone. But I'm gonna go ahead and get right into this and show you step by step how to get you a new transom in. All right, I got the transom out. Got it right here. Pretty easy, just drill it out and then you can pretty much pull it out. The next step we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna get some measurements width-wise and depth-wise as well. And I'll cut out a piece of plywood, and then I'll show you how to mark it up and make your template. I've got my measurements. It's actually 54.5, not a quarter, by 14.5. So I've got 14.5 wide and 54.5 up here. So I'm gonna get this marked and cut out, and I'll show you how to get an exact fit on your boat. Now that I got the boards cut the right length, the next thing I did was just put them up under the base of the boat and clamp them. And the reason being, so I can take a marker and get my outline. I did the same to that side there. I'm gonna go ahead and get it off there and put it back on the truck and get it cut out, and I'll make 2 of them. I think what I'm gonna do is, because it doesn't have to be perfectly squared off, normally there's like a 1/2 inch gap. So I think what I'm gonna do is take a 1/2 inch off one side, and this should drop in a lot easier. And then once this is mocked up the way I want it, I'll go ahead and cut the other one as well. So get back to cutting. All right, moment of truth. I cut a 1/2 inch off one of these sides. Hopefully it'll work this time. There it goes. Seems like it's fitting pretty good so far. But one thing I didn't take into consideration is the drain plug down here. So I'm gonna have to notch out a square for that. But what I'm gonna do is, I'm actually gonna go in from the other side of the drain plug, pick up on this where you want it. And I'm just making a little notch for where I can feel the plywood. And that should do it. There you can see that little semicircle I'm gonna go ahead and just notch out a quick square, and then I'll actually trace the other one and get a perfect template. And I'll get these glued together and resined, and we'll be ready to throw the transom in. What I'm gonna do is just rest my saw blade on the edge here, cut that edge, and go ahead and drill the hole for the drain. And that way it's perfectly one piece. If I trim a little extra off this, I ain't worried about it. It'll fit a little easier. And then I'm gonna go ahead and screw it together and get it sealed. But I figured this would be an easier way to do it. I was able to notch this out with the Sawzall and then get a sander in there. Ended up palm sanding this whole thing. And it's starting to look like one piece now. But I've already fitted it. It seems to fit pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get some epoxy hardener on it and stuff like that, seal it up good. And I'll be letting it dry, and I'll be throwing it in the boat. This stuff is no joke. When they say 8 to 10 minutes, I mean, look at that. It's been probably 6-7 minutes. It's already gloppy. So you gotta work quick. Another thing to keep in mind if you plan on keeping your boat for long term is while the transom's out, go ahead, do yourself a favor, and get you a template for a future transom. That way, if you ever have to do this again, all you gotta do is cut it out, double it up, and not take all day trying to get the perfect dimensions and sanding and all that crap. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off and save it and throw it in the shop. That way, if I ever do it again, it'll be easy. You can see all these bubbly spots. I need to sand that down. The edges here need to be cleaned up. That way I don't have any issues putting it in the boat because it was tight. Little things like that. So I'm gonna hit this thing with the palm sander and get all this cleaned up and throw some paint on it, let it dry, and we'll get this thing in the boat. I've already went ahead and done a little bit of painting because it'll be easier to do it now than after this is in. So flip this around. See how hard this is to get in. Hopefully it fits. Still, it might take a little bit of persuasion. The epoxy and the paint made it just a hair thicker. The next step is go through the backside, all the existing holes, and go ahead and drill those out. That way we can go ahead and prep everything for the stainless steel hardware. All right, what I'm doing with this is all of these holes are all different sizes for some reason. There's like just a mess of hardware on the back of these transoms. So I went ahead and got all the same bolts, 1/4 inch bolts. So I'm gonna go through and all these small holes, I'm gonna go ahead and drill them out because the bigger holes are already 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna just make them all the same, replace all the hardware with stainless, and just make it one size, make it simple. And I think that'll be the easiest way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill these out and get the brace on and get this thing bolted to the boat. And the last piece I almost forgot about is this little backer plate. I didn't really film this. This is like, I guess an exterior brace or an exterior transom. I didn't want to waste your time with that. You just do the same thing, epoxy it, and I painted it. Just add more support, I guess. And then there's aluminum plates to give it something to bite onto, better than wood, I'm sure. So, because the inside's got one as well. And it kind of looks like a mess right now, but I'll clean it up. I'll be painting over everything once it's cleaned up. but I'd rather have a little bit of a mess than any leaks. I'm actually gonna do just a little bit of silicone around this as well. And the only real purpose these aluminum plates make is just where the motor clamps down to, it's not eating into your wood. It gives it something with less give to mount to. The next thing we'll need to seal up will be this brace. And I've got some 1/4-inch bolts I'm gonna be using for that as well. And I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna seal this thing. To seal this brace, first of all, I'm gonna start off by getting it super clean, both inside and out. And then I'll be going through with some silicone, same process with this, and hopefully get a good tight seal on it. And I'm gonna be putting these bolts in from the bottom. That way if there's any leaks or anything while I'm out in the boat, I can just tighten them up from the inside and apply silicone or whatever I need to do. So that's what I'm gonna try anyway, so we'll see if it works. The very last thing you wanna do after you get all your bolts in, everything's tight, everything's where you want it, all the plates, everything, the very last thing you do is get you a cup of water or something with water, and then we're gonna go back over with our silicone. So you put a dab of silicone over everything, you dip your finger in water, and that just keeps it from sticking to your finger. And you can kind of move the silicone around where you need it. And then you're gonna go through and do that with everything. And then once that's all dry, I'm gonna go over it with the tan paint again and make everything look nice and clean and neat. Here she is. Did a couple light coats on it. I think it turned out pretty good. Just don't pay attention to the rest of the boat. It still looks pretty rough. I just knew I wanted to get this transom taken care of before I did anything else. But looking pretty clean.